Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Betty and today we are going to learn on how to make this beautiful cardigan or sweater together. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up. So now to start your work, you have to start with a grand square, and this is how it looks. And in my work, I used 3 different colors of yarn to achieve the beautiful look of my project or of my work that I wanted. So in this project, I used these 3 different colors, and this is cream. I used the cream, and the next color was gray. So after gray, I use the blue. So I'm going to be mixing these 3 colors of yarn to achieve what I want. Then the hook, it was 3.5 mm. Then with your scissors. And when you find this grand so difficult for you, you can go down in my channel. There's a video about how to make a grand. It will help you catch up. To start our work, I'll start with a slip knot, and to make a slip knot, I'll chain 2 chains and pull from down like so. So now this is our starting point. So to start, I'll chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, chain 4, then chain 5. Then after chaining 5, I will insert my hook in the first chain from the beginning, then slip stitch it to make a magic ring. So now this is my last chain from the start. So I'll push my hook inside, then grab the yarn and pull it through that chain plus the chain on my hook to slip stitch. Then after slip stitching, that's when you get a magic ring. So now we have our magic ring. Then to start row 2, chain 2 in that same space, make a double crochet in that same space. Again the same space, make another double crochet. So to make a double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook inside the ring, pull the yarn out, yarn over, pass through 2, again yarn over and pass through the remaining 2. So now we have 3 double crochets. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is a double crochet. We have 4. Now we are going to make a total of 12 double crochets. So continue and I'll get you there. So now we are back with a total of 11 double crochets. So I'm making the last double crochet to make it 12 double crochets. So after having your total of 12, you slip stitch in the next double crochet like so. So we have our 12 double crochets. So to continue, chain 2 and make a double crochet under that chain, that same space where the chain is. Then in that same space, make another double crochet. So you have 2 double crochets in the same space. Then chain 2 in that same space, make another double crochet. And again in that same space, another double crochet. So now we have 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. That is a shell. We have a shell. Then next you chain 1, then skip 3 double crochets, then on your 4th double crochet inside the stitch, make another double crochet. So we are making another shell. In that same space, make another double crochet. We have 2 in the same space, then chain 2 in that same space, make another double crochet. Again the same space, another double crochet. So that is the pattern on this row. Chain 1, then you count 3 double crochets, then on your 4th double crochet, on top of that 4th double crochet inside that chain is where you're going to make another shell, and the shell is 2 double crochet, chain 2, then 2 double crochets. Okay, now continue, then I'll meet you at the end. Okay, we are back, and now this is how it's looking. We have 4 shells and we have been skipping 3 double crochets. So now at the end you chain 1. After chaining 1, you slip stitch in the next chain. So chain 1, then slip stitch your work. So now here I want to change another color. So I need to attach another yarn. Okay, this is how I attach my yarn. I join it from the back, then I pull it through both chains to slip stitch like so. Then after I chain 1. So after chaining, I tighten at the back, because I don't want it to lose. So that's how it's looking. So to continue, I'll slip stitch in the next stitch, then again in the next stitch until I get to chain 2 space. So now I'm in chain 2 space. The next will be chain 2. In that same space, I'm making another shell, and the shell is double crochet. In the same space, another double crochet, then chain 2, and again that same space, another double crochet, and again that same space, another double crochet. So when you're starting your shell, always remember to start with the chain 2 before you start making 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Then after, chain 1, always remember chain 1. Then in that space between the 2 shells, you make a double crochet. Again in that same space, you make another double crochet, that is 2. In that same space, another double crochet. Those are 3 double crochets in the same space. Then chain 1 and make another shell. Remember, shell is 2 double crochet, chain 2, then 2 double crochets in the same space. So now that is the pattern on this row. So we will continue like that until we meet again at the end of the row. Always remember to chain 1. After shell, you chain 1, then 3 in the same space, then chain 1, then the shell, like that. So I'll continue, I'll meet you at the end. So now we are at the end, and we are remaining with the space of 3 double crochets in the same space, that is in between of 2 shells. Chain 1 after the shell, then make double crochet in that same space, make another double crochet, again in that same space another double crochet. So I've been making a shell. In the space in between we make 3 double crochets in the same space, chain 1, make a shell, chain 1, make 3 double crochets in the same space. That was the pattern. So after you chain 1, then you slip stitch at the end. So now I'm changing another color. That is the main color that I'm going to use for the project. So now to change or to attach my yarn, I will do the same thing that I did before. I will join my yarn, then grab the yarn and pass through both loops like so. Then chain 1 and pull from the back so that it will be tight. But after I'm going to be tightening it as I cut off the yarns. So that's how it's looking. Next I'll slip stitch in the next stitch. Again in the next stitch I'll slip stitch because I want to get to that 2 chain space to make a shell. So when you're in 2 chain space, make 2 double crochets and start your shell. Shell is 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the same space. So we are making our first double crochet, that same space another double crochet, chain 2, then another double crochet in that same space, then that same space again another double crochet. Okay, now we have our shell, and the next will be chain 1 in that space in between of a shell and 3 double crochets in the same space. I'll make another 3 double crochets in the same space. That's 1 double crochet, another double crochet in the same space, then the third double crochet in the same space. Always remember chain 1, then in the next space I'll make another 3 double crochets in the same space. That's 1 double crochet, the second double crochet, then 3 double crochets in the same space. So now this is how the work is looking. Where there's a shell, you make a shell. Where there's chain 1, you make 3 double crochets in the same space. So chain 1, always remember chain 1 before making a shell or making 3 double crochets in the same space. So that is the pattern on this row. Where there's chain 1, put 3 double crochets in the same space. Where there's a shell, make a shell, and the shell is 2 double crochets, chain 2, then 2 double crochets in the same space. Then I'll meet you at the end. So now I'm back and chain 1, and in that space in between of a shell and 3 double crochets in the same space, I'm making the last 3 double crochets in the same space. 2, then 3. So I'm at the end of the row. The next thing to be chain 1, then slip stitch to close up your work. So now I'm not changing any color. This is the main color that I'm going to be using. To continue, I'll slip stitch in the next stitch, then again slip stitch in the next stitch until I get to the chain 2 space. So when you get to the chain 2 space, chain 2, then make a shell. A shell is 2 double crochets in the same space, chain 2, and again 2 double crochets in the same space. 1, 2, then chain 2 in that same space, 2 double crochets. So that's the pattern. Where there's a shell, you make a shell. In the chain 1 space, you put 3 double crochets, in the same space. So that's the pattern we're going to use until you get to the size of the ground you want. Now we are back and we are having chain 1 space where I'm going to make 3 double crochets in the same space. Then after I'll close with a slip stitch. Then chain 1, then slip stitch your work like so. So for me, this is my last row. This is my last row, and this is the size of a ground I'm making. So when you get to your size, you cut off your yarn and make as many grands as you can, because you're going to be joining grands to make this project. So now after you cut off your yarns and tighten them to make your work neat. So this is how our grand looks like. So continue to make more grands. That will be enough for your project. Then I'll meet you there. So now we are back, and what we need to do is to make a chain. And the chain you're going to make, get the measurements of your shoulder, then divide them into 3 parts. Then make a chain depending on the length of the middle part of your shoulder. Remember, there are 3 parts, so at the middle part is the length of the chain that you will want. Then next, skip two chains from your hook. Then on the 3rd chain, make a double crochet. Then in the next chain, make another double crochet. In the next chain is another double crochet. So we have 3 double crochets in each chain. The next chain, another double crochet. 4. Then in the next chain, another double crochet. There are 5. Next chain, another double crochet. So you're going to be placing a double crochet in each chain until you get to the end. So continue like that until you get to the end. So now we are at the end, and we are going in with our double crochet in each chain until you get to the last chain. Next is a double crochet. The next space, a double crochet. Then in the last space, another double crochet. So this is how row 1 is. Row 2, sorry. So next you chain 2 and turn your work. Then again continue in that same space where you chain 2, make a double crochet. Next, another double crochet in the next stitch. Next, another double crochet in the next stitch. Next, another double crochet in the next stitch. Then another double crochet in the next stitch. Next is another double crochet again in the next stitch. Next is another double crochet in the next stitch. So this is what you're going to be doing. make a double crochet in each stitch until you get the length from your shoulder down to your waist. Then I'll meet you and show you how mine looks like. Okay guys, so now I'm back and this is how mine is looking. This is how long it is, and that's how I wanted it. So the next thing will be to join the ground to that panel. It is a back panel, so we are going to join together. I'd already joined some, so I'll show you how to join them. So to join your ground, you have to start from the end of your panel and turn your work at the right side. So as we were doing before you start a shell, make sure you slip stitch in the next chain until you get to the chain 2 space. Then when you are in the chain 2 space, that's when you start chaining 2. Then you make a double crochet in that same space. And again another double crochet in that same space. Then chain 1, then attach your ground to the panel, and to attach you slip stitch in the first stitch from the panel. Slip stitch and pass through both loops like that, then chain 1, then come back to the ground and make 2 double crochets in the same space. So I've made a shell whereby we chained 2 chains, then make 2 double crochets in the same space, chain 1, attach with a slip stitch that will count chain 1, then make 2 double crochets in the same space. Then next, after chain 1, then attach it again to the panel. To attach, you're going to count 3 double crochets from the panel. Then on the 4th double crochet, you slip stitch from the top stitch, then chain 1, then come back to the ground in that space now, in the chain 1 space, and make 3 double crochets in the same space. 1, 2, then 3. So we have 3 double crochets in the same space. Next, you chain 1, then go back to the panel and slip stitch after counting 3 double crochets again. Count 3 double crochets from the panel. Then on the 4th double crochet, slip stitch on top of that chain. Then slip stitch it, then chain 1, then come back to the ground. Come back to your ground in the space of chain 1, then make 3 double crochets in the same space. Then attach your yarn at your panel with the slip stitch it in the 4th stitch on top of the 4th double crochet. Then next, chain 1, come back to the ground and make 3 double crochets in the same space. Then chain 1 and go back to the panel and slip stitch. So that's how to join the panel and the ground, or to join the grounds together. This is the same method you use when you're joining the grounds together. Now I'm at the end of the row and I'm making a shell, and to make a shell is 2 double crochet in the same space like so, then chain 1, go back to the panel and slip stitch on the 3rd stitch like so, then chain 1, come back to your ground and make 2 double crochets in the same space. So I've attached our ground to our panel and we are going to continue until we get to the end. So after pressing 2 double crochets again in that same space, you will chain 1, then in the next space you make 3 double crochets, then chain 1 and again 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, make a shell, and I'll meet you. So now we are back and we are slip stitching in the last stitch. So now chain 1 and now you'll be cutting off your yarn because you're done with this ground. So we'll be attaching another ground after cutting your yarn. This is how the work looks like. Remember, when you're starting a shell, you're starting a shell with 2 double crochets in the same space, then chain 1 and go back and attach your ground to the other ground that you've already attached to your panel. So we want to attach it to the other ground. So this is how you join the grounds together. In that space of chain 2 is where you're going to attach from in the shell, in the middle of the shell. So grab your other part of ground, insert your hook inside the shell at the chain 2 space, then slip stitch it and chain 1, then come back to this ground that you're joining, then make 2 double crochets. So you've joined the shell with the shell from the both sides. So chain 1, go back to the other ground, slip stitch in the space of chain. After that 3 double crochets in the same space, that chain is where you're going to slip stitch like so, then chain 1, then come back and make 3 double crochets in the same space on this ground, then chain 1, go back to the other ground, in the space of chain 1 slip stitch, then chain 1, then come back to this ground and make 3 double crochets in the same space. Make 3 double crochets in the same space. So this is how to join the grounds together, or to attach the grounds together. So continue with this, then I'll meet you. So now we are back and we are that shell at the end of the shell, and the others ground we are still at the same space. So now we are doing the last one, chain 1, go to the shell on this ground, make 2 double crochets in the same space. So you have to be very careful here because we want to attach our ground to the panel. 2, then chain 1, go to the chain 2 space where you attached before, slip stitch inside, then like so. Then in that same space where you attached the panel with that grand before, slip stitch inside there too. Then chain one, come back to your grand and make 2 double crochets in that same space. Then chain one, go and attach your grand to the panel. Now we are attaching it back to the panel. We skip 3 double crochets, then slip stitch on the top of that chain like so. Then chain one, come back in the space, make 3 double crochets in the same space. Then next will be chain one, go and attach it to the panel. Skip 3 double crochets. On the 4th, you slip stitch on top of that chain 4. Then come back, and so that's how you attach it. So continue until you get to the end, and I'll show you how the work looks like. So I'm back, and this is how the work looks like. So pretty, so nice. This is how it looks like. So you continue joining, then I'll meet you at the end. So now we are back, and this is how it is looking, so beautiful. And I hope yours is also looking this way. So there's a space that I left up there. I'm going to make 3 double crochets in each space. So now we are back, and this is what we are going to do. This same pattern is what we are going to make in this side too. So I wanted it to be uniform, this side with the other side to be the same. So we are going to be making 3 double crochets in the same space, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the same space. That's the pattern. So now we are back, and this is how the work is looking. So I've attached the grands to the halfway, and in the upper side I made 3 double crochets in each space, chain 1, 3 double crochets in each space without shells. That's what I did on both sides. And this is the front, then this is the back. So here I'm going to join them together, then after I'll show you. So let's join this together. So now you get the 2 ends and chain 2, then you slip stitch in the first chain from the other part of the panel like that. Then chain 1, then that same space make half a single crochet, then chain 1, then make 3 double crochets in the same space. Then chain 1, go back to the other side of the panel and slip stitch, then chain 1, come back this side and make 3 double crochets in the same space. So it's the same thing that we have been doing since. That's how we are joining them. 3 double crochets in the same space, then chain 1, go back to the other part and slip stitch in that space, then chain 1, come back in that space. So now we are at the end. Make 3 double crochets in the same space, chain 1, in that space slip stitch and chain 1, come back to this side space and make double crochet, then chain 1 and cut yarn. So you're now done joining them, and this is how it's looking. So this is how to join your grandies. So use this method to join all the grandies that you have. And this is how the work is looking. So now I've joined them. So it is time you take measurements of your arms, then you put your stitch marks to mark the area where you're supposed to start making your arms. Mine is 17, so I'll start. After marking with the stitch mark, I'll start with the 3 double crochets in each space, the same method that we've been using. So now I'll start with attaching my yarn from where the stitch mark starts from. Then I'll chain 1, tighten my yarn, then chain another one to make it 2 chains, then turn your work in the next space. I'll make 3 double crochets in the same space. 3 double crochets in the same space, chain 1, in the next stitch 3 double crochets in the same space. So now I'm at the end where my stitch marker is, then the space there I'll put 3 double crochets in the same space, then chain 1, go to the space where my stitch marker is and put 3 double crochets, then I'll be done. Chain 1 to the space where there's stitch marker, I'll make 3 double crochets in the same space, 2, then the last one 3. So now I'll chain 2 and turn my work, and I'll start again with my 3 double crochets in the same space. So that is the pattern until you get to the length of your arm. When you get your length, then you join them together. To join is the same 3 double crochets in the same space, go to the other side, slip stitch, 3 double crochets in the same space, go to the other side and slip stitch. So continue, I'll meet you at the end of it. So this is how the work looks. I went ahead and put some grands again on the arms. You can do the same. You can leave it the way it is. You can use the same method, and to attach the grand is the same thing that we've been doing since. So if you want to attach, you still do the same method to attach your grand to the arms the same way I did. So now next we are going to the last part, I think, where we are going to be placing a double crochet in each stitch. So after placing your double crochet in each stitch all around, then the next will be you place a front and back double crochet, front double crochet, then next will be back double crochet, next will be front double crochet and the back double crochet, as we are going to see now. This one is a back double crochet, next is a front double crochet, next is a back double crochet, next will be the front double crochet. So this is the pattern for the neck under 2 arms, or both sides, then with the down part of it. So when you finish, it depends on the rows you want. For me, I did seven rows each. So you can make 7 rows, you can make 3 rows. So I did 7 rows. I did 3 in a gray, then 1 in blue, then 3 in cream to balance the colors. So continue with your work, then I'll show you how it looks. Alright, so this is the final look of the work. This is how our work looks, and it's so beautiful, so pretty. So I did a row of 7 on the arms. On the neck, I did a row of 6. Then the arm is 7. Then down under, I did a row of 7. So this is how your work should look. So thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and see you in my next video.